I know we're supposed to be talking about this week's episode of Haves and Have-Nots, and we are. But next week, Veronica, you push Jeffrey to the edge. Whatever he does, whatever he potentially does, I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him. I don't think anyone will be mad at him. I feel like a lot of people will be rooting for him. Is it right? No. But look, let's just start off with this week. So this is the recap for the Have and Have-Nots. Season 4, Episode 15. The episode is entitled The Apple Tree. And it starts off with Hannah. She's talking to Catherine Cryer. And as we know, Catherine knows that Wyatt died. Catherine is beside herself, and Hannah, of course, being Catherine's only true friend, is there to help and support her. But here's what's currently going on. Catherine, she can't sleep, of course. She can't eat. Hannah's like, you have to eat something. You have to sleep. She's just like, I can't. And she has a favor from Hannah. Her first favor is she needs Hannah to tell her, Hannah, you told me something a while back ago when you found out that Wyatt was the one who, ran over your son and also that little girl. You basically said that what goes around comes around, whatever you do comes back onto you. And so Catherine just needed to know. She just needed to know, is this her punishment? Is this Wyatt's punishment for his actions? And it took like 5-7 minutes for Hannah just to go out and eventually say it, that here's how it goes. You reap what you sow. Now, Hannah, of course, isn't saying that because your son did that, he deserved to OD and die. No, she's just saying the evil deeds, they do come back. They come to light. They are always found out. That is the reality of the world. That is the reality of the situation. And what you need to know is, I don't think that God would go and allow your son to just OD and die just to spite you or just to punish you. No, absolutely not. But what I do believe and what I do know is that you put out evil, you put out bad in the world, it comes back. You plant an apple tree, it bears apples. Come on now. And Hannah's right. Did I feel a certain way about her saying it at that moment? Yes. Did Hannah even feel a certain way about saying that at that moment? Yeah. But if it was anyone else, maybe I'd be a little upset, but it's the truth and it's also the reality. Catherine and Jim have done so much stuff that's how it normally, the results are. Your family is usually one that pays for your mistakes, not you yourself. That's just how it is. So we get past, and Catherine goes and tells Hannah, well, I need for you to go and tell Jim. Hannah is over it at this point. She's just like, I don't care if your son died. You're trying to tell me that you want me to go to the man who essentially covered up the fact that your son ran over my son, putting him in the hospital, almost killed him, almost killed that little girl. I have to now go and be your messenger because there's no one else that could possibly go and talk to Jim. His only real friend isn't his friend right now, and you're worried that Jim will hear from someone else? Look, this is Jim we're talking about. That's why I was like, Catherine, you're delirious right now, and you're delusional, and thank God that the only reason why this is happening, I had to stop myself. The only reason why this is happening is because Wyatt died. And so Hannah's feeling really bad about it. Because Catherine even pulled the guilt card. Well, you're a Christian. So as a Christian, I know you're going to do the godly thing. You're a woman of God. You're a child of God. I'm like, Catherine, stop it. I hate when people go and try to flip people's religion and their beliefs on others in order to get them to do stuff. And that's what Catherine did. I don't care that Wyatt died. We knew that he would die sooner or later. And that's just the reality of his character and his situation. Did I want him to? No. But your son did what he did, and now you're telling the woman that both you and your husband scorned that she has to go and be the bearer of bad news. Hannah goes and does it anyway because Catherine looks like she's just going to die herself if she has to go and even possibly talk to Jim. Because Jim was basically like, you killed my little girl, you're going to do the same to Wyatt. Watch. And that's what it is. But Jennifer needs to watch her back because Jennifer, you might be next. Now, finally moving on from that, Candy, she's in bed, she's asleep. You see someone in her bed and they started to fondle her, and she was still asleep for a good 30 seconds. I'm like, oh, you little hoe. You whore. I'm sorry, but you little dot pocket. How in the world is this man fondling you and you're not waking up from it? This reminds me of, what was it, If Loving You Is Wrong, when Kelly was being fondled and she didn't wake up. Like, what's the... But, of course, it was War. Warlock, Warren, whatever name you want to use, whatever W name you want to use. Warren, Warlock, War. Oh, I like that. Warren, Warlock, War. He's just like, I want my money. Candy's like, you'll get your money today. You'll get your money today by midnight. Today. She's just like, no, that's not how it's gonna work. It's gonna work by 5 p.m. You know, when the bank closes, yeah, that's when I want my money. Since you're supposed to be getting it from the bank, it was just like, you know, and of course, I'm gonna be paying Benny a good little visit. So there is that. And so Candace knows that she has to go make sure she gets this money because Benny will, he will be gone. Gone, I'm telling you, if War gets his hands on him. Benny gets back to his job, and of course the phones still aren't working. So he decides to go and call up David, and it's just like, he leaves David a voicemail. It's like, hello, David Harrington. This is Benjamin Young. I'm speaking on behalf of my business, Benny's Towing. I need to speak with you. Please call me back. Benny! Is that your stereotypical white voice? Is that your stereotypical white voice? Cause it's been it. Oh, and of course Mitch is just like, yeah, so Benny, I don't think you should be getting into it with a high-powered lawyer. I don't think so either, because Benny, you have some skeletons in your past, and I'm sure David, if he really wanted to, could put you behind bars like that. So Mitch was right, but Mitch had bigger plans. You know, he wanted to talk about War, and you know, he was trying to see what War's relationship really was with him and Candy. And from the jump, I knew that something seemed off. You know, Mitch seemed a little too concerned with Candace, because it's like, so when you think she's potentially getting raped, you don't do anything because you're afraid of War. But yet now you're doing 20 questions with Benny to see how close War really is to Candy, and to see if they ever went out and all that. Of course, he's asking those probing questions to see if maybe it was consensual or if it was truly rape. And also, it's like, what's really good? Of course, he doesn't like War, period. This is the one thing I appreciate about Mitch. He does not like War. Neither do either of us anymore. We don't. Oh yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. We don't. Because War's been on a war path. And guess who shows up? War. After Benny, you know, begged and pleaded with Mitch that, here's the thing, I've known this guy since birth, so regardless of what relationship we have, he's family. You're my friend, and you can come and work with me and be in business with me, but he's family. And of course, he treats Candy with me with respect and love, and he's watch out for us. You know, I'd be in jail right now if it wasn't for War. You'll be 6 feet under pretty soon because of War, so maybe jail was a better option. So Mitch was just like, all right. War comes in, and Mitch is just like, yeah, I'm gonna go and get coffee. But he's just like, oh my gosh, War, my favorite person in the world. War is just looking like... And so Ben's just like, yo, do you want to, he was just like, yeah, I'm just going to stick around for the day. It's like, oh, well, you know, it's kind of slow right now, just getting to work. It's just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll just sit here. It's like, oh, all right, cool. It's like, yeah, get in the big man's chair, the boss's chair. So it's like, those chairs look the same, but okay. And Ward's just like, yeah, this is nice. I can get used to it. None of you better get used to it because of what Candace did in the middle of this episode. Speaking of Candace, she is she's at home, she's getting ready to go to the bank, and to make sure Benny and her don't get killed. And, what's his name? Jeffrey comes over. Jeffrey's in the mood. Jeffrey's sulking. Jeffrey's probably coming down from the, his little, not drunken stupor, but the fact that, remember, he just had sex with, what's the officer's name? John? Justin? Andrew? Candace gives him her new phone, his new phone, and of course it's bringing off the hook. Now, Candace is just like, look, I don't have time for your shenanigans. Well, I don't have time for anything regarding your mother because Jeffrey was trying to talk about how, you know, my mom is doing the most right now. She's like, oh, well, one emergency at the time. I'm going to go and get finished and I'm going to leave. And so Jeffrey's just like, okay, whatever. And guess who calls? Guess who calls? The officer. The cop that Jeffrey's been having a little tryst with. He calls because he's just like, yeah, so I actually got free and now I need you to go and I need you to join me. Yes, join me. Be at the hotel. Come here. Come to the room. You already know how this goes. You know what to do. And it was like 1 hour, and Jeffrey was like, no, I don't want to, I don't know. And it was like 1 hour. It's like, no. 1 hour. So it's like, oh, I need to. It's like, all right, 2 hours. I'm like, Jeffrey went from being the man on top. Well, he went from being the guy in charge to the script getting flipped on him in one night. In less than 24 hours? And this guy's already bossing him around? Like, Jeffrey, what happened to the independent Jeffrey? What happened to him? Mitch comes, and while Candace is leaving, Mitch is like, yeah, so Candace, I need to talk to you. I'm like, they seem a little too comfortable and familiar. And we know why, because Mitch actually, he and Candace himself had a relationship. So when Benny was asking Mitch if him and Candace ever did anything, he lied. He lied. We knew there was something shady and crafty about Mitch, and now we know. Apparently, Mitch and his brothers, they're in some really, really illegal stuff and bad stuff. And so Mitch was just like, what's going on with you in the war? Why was he doing what he was doing to you? Was he raping you? And Candace was like, what? No. He was just like, oh, are you doing sexual favors for him? Why are you doing whatever war wants? And I knew at this moment that Mitch and Candace must have had a really close relationship because Candace hasn't been this honest and upfront with people in a long time. She flats out says, you know, yeah, I owe War a lot of money, and so I'm trying to make moves right now to give him his money, and I need to give it all to him today. So he's just like, whoa, how much money do you need? You know, I have a couple of G's in the bank. He's just like, oh, honey, thank you so much. And I was like, wait a minute, why is she touching him like that? But no, it's too much. Just like, maybe I can bring my brothers involved. It's like, oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. War was bad. Don't do that. Please, don't do that. I'm fine. I have it covered. And so he's like, why are you having sex with him? It's just like, I have it covered. I'm doing what I need to do. And of course, Mitch is just like, all right. It's just like, you know, it got you. It's just like, I know. It's just like, but thank you for being so concerned. And this is like, okay. And that's when they kissed. And that confirmed it, that they had some type of relationship. So Mitch goes, because Mitch was blocking her driveway. Mitch goes and calls up his brothers. It's just like, I need to put out a hit on someone. And it's just like, oh, wait, what's going on? He calls his brothers. It's like, yeah, War. His name is War. Warren, Warlock, War. You know, yes, him. Yeah, so I need you to, yes, and yes, with the cocaine, yes. In the heroin, yes. In the car, yes. Put him in, yes. I'm like, Mitch, I knew there was something, I didn't know it ran that deep. I was like, okay, we may redeem you for that foolishness you tried last week. Now, this is where things take a turn for the worse. Oh yeah, and I'm wondering if the neighbor's still watching Candace and all these men come into her house. She's all like, what is this white guy doing? I haven't seen him yet. Well, I've seen one before, but this is another. Dang, and what is he So, Jeffrey goes home to his mom's new house, and they're cleaning up the blood stain. I was looking at him like, wait a minute. First of all, you could have gotten a bunch of towels. You could have gotten some sand. But okay, for dramatic effect, let's pretend like it's that difficult to get blood out of concrete. All right, let's go for that. Anyway, Jeffrey comes home and from the jump, he's berated. His mom's looking at his outfit like, yeah, I didn't realize there were two women here. Interesting how your shirt. Yes. Oh, isn't it so colorful? Isn't it so fancy? It's just like, boy, you're gonna do whatever I say, aren't you? You're going to live in this house. You're going to marry Marissa. You are going to have this baby. You are going to do all of this, and regardless of what you think, this is what's going to happen. That's basically how the conversation went, because it was just so bad, and she was just like, listen to me. I was like, ow! How are you gonna... See, Jeffrey was abused by that woman. I don't care what anyone says. He was abused by that woman. That was the first time we saw that, but I'm sure she's done that a couple of times before. Because anytime her voice got deep and she was like, boy, all my life I have struggled to fight, and I'll fight you today. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Oof, I was rebuking the BS that I watched. Now, because his room with Melissa, whatever the chick's name is, it's all decked out. And I mean, it's all frou-frou-lally, and they even has a little nursery in there. And Jeffrey's just looking at this like, are you kidding me? I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing this. I'm not wearing what you want to wear. I'm not marrying her. I'm not doing any of it. And she was just like, oh, so you're not going to do it? Okay, so how about this? How about I go and we have a talk? We can either, because I always give you choices, Jeffrey. I always give you choices. Here are the choices, though. Is either we discuss your wedding plans with Melissa and you having your baby, or we discuss, you know, what was that murder that occurred at Candace's house. You know, your friend Candace. Yeah, you know, since you want to bring up murders and the fact that Maggie Day's dead. And by the way, she was thrilled when he brought that up. She's like, oh my, you know, isn't it just a shame that Maggie Day's dead? Is it just a shame? But oh well. Veronica, I love you and I hate you at the same time. Okay. And after that, Candace is at the bank because now she has to sign the papers. Now, this is where smart Candace, crafty Candace comes in, because she's trying to look at those papers because she knows you do not just sign your life away when you're trying to get that type of money. And so the guy decides, okay, reverse psychology. Candace, I need you to sign these papers, because when she wanted to go closer to the end, he kept stopping her. She's like, I need to read this. And she's just like, okay, you can read this or you can get the money on time, because if you take too long, then you won't be able to get the money on time. She was just like, oh, okay. Oh yeah, and by the way, I need it in cash. It was like, what do you mean in cash? Yeah, I need it in cash because I need it in cash. And it was like, you want it by the end of today? And Candace, we can't secure physical money like that in cash in that short amount of time. So she was just like, I need it in cash. Can you figure it out or not? It was just like, okay, I'm going to make a call. It's like, yeah, call up Jim. Clearly, Jim's going to move $2 million out of his account into the bank so that she can go and get the money like that in pure cash. What happened next? For some reason, I already forgot this was supposed to happen. But Jeffrey's head was resting on the police officer. And so I'm thinking to myself, so Jeffrey was the... It's not that it really matters. It's not that I really care. But it was just like, okay. So the guy was still cuffed. This whole time, well, actually, no. The guy was freed the last time. But the guy was cuffed, and he talks about how, he's like, Jeffrey, what's wrong? Jeffrey, what's wrong? Jeffrey, what's wrong? And Jeffrey's just like, nothing. It's like, all of you are the same. Jeffrey is depressed right now. That's what's going on. He's depressed. His mother's ruling his life. Basically, everyone who's in his life who he thinks he possibly was finally able to have a head up on them, they're running things. They're taking over. He feels like everything's out of control. He feels like he's being used and abused. And it clearly shows. And the officer, what's his name? Justin. Jeffrey, it's like, I'm not gay or anything, and this isn't gay. It's just like, yeah, I know the script, whatever. But it's just like, yeah, well, I still care, I don't know what's going on with you. The reason why I liked you is because you seem nice and caring. I'm like, wait a minute. So you got all of that from an initial drunken encounter with... so does that mean your wife isn't nice or caring? Is that what that means? Jeffrey was just like, you need to get out, you need to go, I don't care about you, I don't need to see you anymore. It's just like, wait, but I still want to talk because you had the handcuffs tighter this time. It's just like, come on, you can talk to me. It's just like, no, it's people like you. And when Jeffrey was like, look, dude, you weren't complaining about me being like a girl or whatever when you were screaming, making those sounds. I'm like, what? Whoa, hold up. What type of sounds are those? You don't need to reenact them for me, but I'm just nosy in general. I was shook with her. So the dude leaves. Candace finds out that they have the money and they're just counting it right now. So she goes and tells War what's going on. And War's just like, do I sound like I actually care? Do I sound like I actually care? Do I sound like I actually care? No. I want the money in my hand. So when are you going to make that happen? When are you going to do that for me? Candace, why do you keep calling this man, giving him tabs on stuff when you're giving him half of the information? That's why he stays pissed at you. You keep saying, oh, well, I have the money. Oh, here it is. It's almost here. And he's like, okay, so why isn't it in my hand? That's what it actually means. I'm taking things literally. Oh, well, no, they have to count it. You just said you have it. Anyway, Jeffrey goes to his mom's house because she's having that dinner. His father isn't there, and he's just like, oh, Dad isn't there? I'm wondering what's in his mind at that point, what gears are spinning, what's making him think, something could possibly, maybe if, Now, Jeffrey's there, and remember, his mother told him to wear something black. Something, masculine, a black suit, something strong, powerful. Jeffrey comes in trying to outdo his mother by wearing this floral patterned jacket. And she was like, wait a minute. There's too much estrogen in this room. I really hope that your child is a man because we need more men in this family. Not only that, why is it that you're trying to outdo me with my dress? I told you to wear something manly, wear black. But you know what? It doesn't matter because here you go. What's this? This is the ring box. This is the ring box that you're going to use to propose to Marissa. Propose? Yeah, I told you about you proposing. I was serious, darling. Boy, this is what you're going to... Look at me. We're doing this. Look at me. We're doing this. Melissa comes in. And Melissa's looking good. I don't know why. It looked like she lost some weight. She wasn't chunky or out of shape or anything like that before, but it definitely looked like she slimmed down a little bit. Either way, she's looking extra for Jeffrey. No, for Jeffrey's mom, Veronica. That's who she's looking extra for because she has to make sure that, she approves. And of course, Veronica's just like, oh, so you got the check. The money came through for your father. Yes, thank you so much. Again, remember, Veronica is framing this woman. She's framing this woman so that Jeffrey can have someone to marry. So that this woman could be Jeffrey's beard. Veronica's just like, get up. When a lady comes in, you stand up from the table. She was just like, well, I'm still waiting for a lady to come in. Like, Jeffrey, are you still drunk? Are you still drunk? Because if you are, it's okay. Whoa! So Jeffrey gets up and she's just like, oh, this is cute. Kiss! What? You two are a loving couple. A loving couple kisses. A loving couple. So Jeffrey goes, kisses her on the cheek. He's just like, you can do better than that. I'm like, Veronica, stop it. Stop it, Veronica. You can do better than that. So he goes and it's just like, she's just like, it needs work. But see how it feels to kiss a woman. Now take her upstairs so that she can see our room. This is how Melissa's looking the whole time. Marissa's looking the whole time. I felt so bad for her. You can tell she didn't want to be there. So Jeffrey takes her upstairs and Marissa's moving into the house. Now Veronica was just saying to the maid, this is like, okay, go and get, of course, Marissa's things. This is like, okay, the maid goes to the front. This is like, ah! And now, mind you, the maid is white. She was just like, what is wrong with you? You know you get things from the back. I was like, Veronica, you one of these rich, older black women with the racist white woman mentality? I can't mess with you, Veronica. You're doing too much. And this is why whatever Jeffrey does next week, I'm not mad at him. Hannah goes to the jail and Jim is just like, oh, this is a trip. I know you must be here, because Jim isn't letting Hannah talk. And he's just like, why are you here, Hannah? Why are you here? Are you here to go and gloat and say, oh, you were right about Wyatt? I was just like, ooh, Jim, stop it. Stop it, because you don't know the half of it. Are you going to say, because what goes around comes around? Are you going to say that you're going to sue us? Are you gloating to say that you reap what you sow? I mean, Jim was going off for 40 days and 50 nights, and he just kept going and going and going and going and going and going and going. And so he was just like, Hannah was like, are you done? He was like, yes, Hannah, I am done. So, what do you want to tell me, Hannah? She's just like, what? Well, I'm here to tell you about Wyatt. Oh, about Wyatt. I should have known. What about Wyatt? He's dead. Wait, but what do you mean he's dead? How is it? He can't be. He's dead. No, she sent me down here to tell you he's dead. He overdosed. Oh, wait. I told them. I told that. So that was it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Come back next week. Next week, if you don't see any other episode this season, look for next week. Hopefully Tyler Perry does not pull a fast one on us and have us wait until the very end of the episode to see what we want to see and it not even happen in the following one. He better not pull that slick stuff on us. Like it really matters, because I'll still be watching anyway. So, watch out for, of course, for my review for Greenleaf, for Big Brother, for Wayward Pines. I'm not sure about Marriage Boot Camp.